Please be seated. So again, part of the flow for today, just as a little warning, my sermon is slightly longer so that my rector's report will be slightly shorter. Balancing out my timing. Recently, I was speaking with a colleague, and they grew up in a very different Christian household. Sometimes her church set dates for when they expected the rapture. People fearfully prepared for God's kingdom, believing that it was coming in literally a few days. And as I reflected on that, because in my Episcopal upbringing, we did not have dates for the rapture, I'm grateful that I've actually never experienced a sense of fear around God's kingdom. Because I believe God's kingdom is always emerging in our midst. Anytime that we respond with love, God's kingdom breaks into our world a little bit more. And you know why I believe this, or how? It's because I've seen it. I've experienced it. Just like the gospel tells us. When love is clearly seen, people respond. And they respond with love. Here at St. Matthew's, about a month after I started, Dean Olson passed away. Ron reached out, and I got there as quickly as I could, as immediately as I could. But she had passed a few minutes before. Surrounded by family and loved ones, it was very peaceful and very loving. And immediately, this community responded, helping with funeral plans, with music, with meals, with presents, reaching out to Ron. Love responding to love. God's kingdom breaking through everyone's usual to-do lists and agendas. All of that could wait. And last Christmas, just before the holidays, the Day family first walked through our doors. And they were immediately greeted by love. Their little girls swept up into the Christmas pageant, 3 new angels, and little Evelyn on Christmas Eve wandering all around the sanctuary. I could not stop laughing. God's kingdom breaking through in a little child wandering around and finding home in this sanctuary. It was bringing us joy to remember that Christmas is not about what we get, but it's who we become. And the Rowe family, I know, has a similar story. The first time they came, Eliana was immediately invited to participate in Youth Sunday, and she responded so earnestly, carrying the wine up from the back and helping with the ushers. And Chris always made sure that you knew she saw Christ in you. And that's what Eliana responded to. And it was God's kingdom breaking through the assumptions of newcomers. Eliana was already home. Every time that Whitney or Brent bring Sue to church, or Kevin and Linda bring Susan, that is transforming a world of isolation into a world of connection, care, and belonging. Every quilt that we bless, every visit our Eucharistic ministers make, every time Chuck or Tom tell me, people just keep giving. This is God's kingdom breaking into our world with comfort and abundance. And I haven't even gotten to the wine walks, the band and the choir every Youth Sunday, the potlucks, the men's group hosting Shrove Tuesday pancakes, the women's group their tea or their paint and sit, our St. Matthew's Feast Day celebration, our parish summer camp at Cathedral Ridge, our Wednesday book discussions where we listen and learn from one another, and on and on. All of these moments of connection, of joy, of presence, of love, they are showing us that God's kingdom is not just near. God's kingdom is here. When we knew that Chris was taking a turn in her cancer journey, we gathered the kids so that she could tell them in her own words what was happening. And we sat in a circle. She shared the love and the peace that she felt. She let the kids cry as they hugged her, and we told her how much we loved her and the impact that she made. That was truly love breaking through the shadow of death. And one Sunday morning, as I was greeting at the door, Mark came up to me and whispered, "Amy, it's our 32nd anniversary. We're going to ask for a blessing. We've never had a blessing in a church before." And when Mark and Ron came forward, we blessed them. And you immediately responded with claps and cheers, just as we did for Patty and Lee's 60th anniversary, for Martha and Scott's 53rd anniversary. Love responding to love. God's kingdom right here. Nothing to fear. Over the last year, we've worked on our parish why. And God's kingdom kept breaking into that space. We listened to one another's stories, hopes, and joys. We didn't wait to be told who we are. We created it together. Shared community work, rooted in love. It took patience, but it's worth it. So this is what we say in our why statement. We believe every person is a beloved child of God. God calls us to love first, so that the love we nurture here can bless lives, foster belonging, and reflect God's hope in the world. It was a lot of good work to get to that. But now, let me be honest. Here comes the hard part. In Matthew's gospel today, we see the disciples respond to Jesus immediately. What we don't see are the people staring in disbelief. The fishermen saying, "My family isn't ready." Or the crowd on the shore saying, "My friends aren't sure about this." Or maybe even their father Zebedee pleading for them, "Please use common sense." We will face that crowd. Our family and friends. We don't get the luxury like Matthew of just writing them out. Believing every person is a beloved child of God is not based on common sense. We did not write a pros and cons list for belovedness. It is based on each one of us being transformed by the love in this community, on seeing God's kingdom here, and trusting that it is possible to respond, to follow. So we have made a bold claim, a commitment to helping God's kingdom break into this world. And we cannot let our faith be shackled by the voices in the crowd. Discipleship is the immediate response to love, to Christ, to imagining a world shaped by belovedness. and we are already more disruptive than we may think. In Advent, as well as in Lent, we use the 1998 Enriching Our Worship liturgy. And it says, Christ's blood is poured out for all. Now, we're back using the 1979 Rite 2, and we say Christ's blood is poured out for many. And our canons for the Episcopal Church say that only the baptized may receive. But what do we say? Or rather, what do you hear me say every Sunday? All are welcome at Christ's table. And I didn't invent that. St. Matthew's has been saying that long before I got here. And we talked about it together when I arrived. And we studied it last spring in our Episcopal 101 class. St. Matthew's is living into God's expansive love. God's kingdom breaking through right at our communion rail. Little anti-institutional St. Matthew's Parker, working to transform even the Episcopal Church, holding our institution accountable to its commitment that says all are welcome. So when we say we believe every person is a beloved child of God, we did not add Gonzaga fans only. I mean, yuck, right? You feel how that doesn't sit right. And when we say God calls us to love first, we did not add, unless occasionally we have to judge you. We shudder at that. Our baptismal promises and our why do not put conditions on God's love. It is easier to limit God's love than to trust belovedness. I mean, it would be so much easier if I really knew that God only loved Gonzaga fans. But that is not the gospel. It takes courage and integrity to follow this path of faith. We're currently reading Brene Brown's Braving the Wilderness. And she says integrity means you choose courage over comfort. You choose what is right over what is fun, fast, or easy. And you choose to practice values rather than just professing them. And that's who we are. We practice belovedness when we change our schedules to care for one another. When we tend to this campus, fixing water heaters and changing furnace filters. When we cheer wandering Christmas angels. When we celebrate anniversaries or share grief and joy. When we watch basketball with opposing teams. And when we wrestle with life together. We won't get it perfect. We'll say the wrong thing. We'll learn and we'll grow. But we keep choosing love. And we help each other to keep trying on this path again. So when we are oriented to Jesus, our attention is trained to immediately follow love. So how do you respond when you're asked, do you believe every person is a beloved child of God? Yes, yes, immediately. You respond immediately. Let's try it again. Do you believe every person is a beloved child of God? Yes. Okay, one more time, a little bit bolder. Do you believe every person is a beloved child of God? Yes. And as we live these words, we are growing from a sweet little parish where everyone smiles and nods, into a deep community of beloved disciples, where everyone truly